Welcome, everyone, and happy holidays. I hope everybody is well, and please, if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. It's been an exciting year. We have a lot of content coming at you today, so please add your thoughts to the chat. We might not have time to get to them, but they'll be part of the write-up, be part of YouTube, and we'll make sure that they get noted. There are fellows that could not be present today, but they will be added to YouTube. They've recorded a video, and John will edit them afterwards. Staying for the whole thing, there'll be some leadership gift from me at the end, and we'll bring everyone in for a happy holiday at the end as well. We have a great lineup for 2024, starting with January 16th, leading the digital era with 𝗂𝗏 𝗏, Tamara Park, and Richard Bliss. And please remember to check out Andrea Markstrom's I Will for our first full-day conference coming in early February. We're going to get it going right away, and we have a great guest today, and we're going to start off. We're going to start off with Hans Gilmer today, and we're going to bring all the fellows in one at a time for their gift. Hans, welcome.
Thank you so much. And from Sweden, I'm saying God Jul och Gott Nytt År.
Well, happy holidays to you and a happy New Year, Hans.
Thank you so much. So my topic, what I'm going to talk about today, is about agile transformation. This is a topic I wrote about in the book Digital Transformation Demystified, and something that many companies and organizations are struggling with. So I meet a lot of this last year. I've been working with a lot of management teams about how to implement agile and how to get an engagement in the business and organization about this. Many are struggling with implementing frameworks such as SAFe in the organization, and we see that many companies more and more are actually moving away from agile and doing something else, and so on. And the question I always ask when starting this kind of engagement with leadership and so on is why? Why are you considering agile to begin with? What is the purpose of doing that? And when I ask that question, I get so many different questions or responses to that, many different answers. All from we want to improve productivity in the organization, we want to reduce time to markets, we want to improve the productivity of the IT organization, making that more efficient and effective in that sense. And I even got an answer saying that, well, some other organization told us that this is the right way to go without really knowing what it was. That was one really nice response. But what I think is important to understand when we talk about agile transformation, and also probably when it comes to digital transformation, is that these concepts are actually the solution to a business challenge. There are business challenges in organizations that hinders us to achieve the goals and vision of the organization and the company itself. And agile digital transformation is the response to that. Agile transformation is seldom the vision or goal itself. It is something actually that you need to do to achieve your goals and that is not clear by everybody. So that is my first question about why you're doing this. What kind of business challenges do you have where agile transformation is the right response? And by asking that question and getting that alignment helps organizations to create better business engagement and also value, because the agile transformation and digital transformation is put in the right context of things. And that is something I help leadership organizations with, to get that alignment, get in the right context of agile transformation and also digital transformation in that sense. And I think also the digital readiness tool developed by the Institute itself is an excellent way to start this discussion and getting the right components in place to get the perfect alignment. So my leadership gift to you this year, based on my 2023 experience, is actually giving you the insights and the alignment of agile and digital transformation for a better business performance and business transformation. And I wish you again God Jul och Gott Nytt År from Sweden, Stockholm.
Thank you. Great advice. Agile transformation, getting to core values, and I think that's a tremendous opportunity for all of us to really get to the best opportunity for business and digital transformation. So thank you for leaving us with that. And I wish you and yours a happy holidays and a wonderful new year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Hans. That was great. I appreciate your time, Hans, and all the things we learned from you this year. And next up, we're going to bring, some of you might know him as Doctor, but I'm going to bring up our favorite chef, Chef Frank Granito.
I did not know you were going to do that, but how,
I know you did,
how
but...
appropriate. Yes, it is true. I am a trained chef in addition to being a doctor. So I do have two leadership gifts this time around, but I'm only going to talk about one. But there's an article I put together some months ago. Everything I know about leadership I learned in culinary school. So if you get a chance to read that, I think you might enjoy it. So my leadership gift, second of all, if you want to be a leader, learn about leadership and teamwork, go to work in a professional kitchen. It is crazy. And there's the link right on the right below my name there. My daughter is a working pastry chef, and she is now she has her name on the door of a local bakery as head baker, and a very proud moment for her father and her mother. So I was talking to her just this morning, and I gave her my leadership gift now that she's officially the head baker. And she said, "Wow, Baba, that's where did you read that?" I said, I've been using that for decades. So here I'm going to give it to you. It's the 3 Ds of leadership. The first D, decide. Second D, delegate. And the third D, disappear. So I have some nuances there for you. So decide. As a leader, it is your responsibility to make decisions. How you make those decisions could be of various ways, democratically, autocratically, whatever it is it suits the moment, the situation, etc. But you are responsible, indeed accountable, for the decisions you make. And it's your responsibility to make them. Secondly, you need to delegate. If you're doing your staff's job, you're not doing your job. Your job is to get work done through others, and assigning work to people, knowing who to assign it to, elevates everybody. And the third D is disappear. Again, some nuance to this. Disappear doesn't mean just go away. Disappear means get out of the way. Let your staff do their job. Don't hover over them. You know what needs to be done, and John Palinkas talks about this all the time, my partner. You know what needs to be done, but your staff probably knows how to get it done. So let them get it done. You may not get done the exact way you get it done, but it will get done. And you might find some real gems that you didn't think of along the way. And nobody works very well with somebody looking over their shoulder. So decide, delegate, disappear. Buon Natale e buon appetito. Ciao.
Frank, thanks. And before you head out, one quick question, if you don't mind. The name of your daughter's bakery, if you don't mind sharing it?
Black Market Bakers in Edgewater, Maryland, which is just south of Annapolis. And I'm very, very proud. I can't talk about it anymore because I'll get choked up. But Black Market Bakers in Edgewater, Maryland, just south of Annapolis. She is a magnificent pastry chef. Ciao.
My next trip down there, I'm going there. So thank you. Frank, happy holidays to you and your family. And thank you for sharing that. Disappear is great. Too many leaders don't focus on that. And I think it's awesome to let your team run and grow. Thank you, Frank. Well, Frank, thank you. And the first fellow I met is up next. And I'm proud to bring to the screen here, Wendy Kuhn.
Hello, my friend. Great to see you.
Hello, my friend. It's good to see you too. How are you?
I am great, and a big hello from Norway.
Well, happy holidays to you in Norway, and it's great to see you across the globe now. So what do you have for us today, Wendy? Thank you for doing this, by the way.
That's right. So I'd like to share a very personal leadership lesson as I've been reflecting a lot on this year. And for a little bit of context, I'm a pretty data-based person. I'm a very strongly analytical type person. My mind can convince me of just about anything. But as I reflect on this year, the leadership gift that I want to share is to remind us to follow our intuition and feel for alignment. And I'll talk about that from two different angles reflective of my year. One is lack of alignment, and the other is extreme alignment. So this year I really came to terms with a lot of things, and not the least of which was a schedule that was very out of control. So I finally listened to that blessed unrest and had the courage to let go and say no to things that were no longer aligned with my vision and passion in this season. So that's one learning. And the other is an example of extreme alignment. So some people that have been with me this year know I had a very special trip to Australia. And where that came from was a split-second conversation, end of 2022. Someone on a call said, "Hey, Wendy, maybe you should come to Australia in 2023. And I said, "Hey, yeah, maybe I should." And we were all kind of joking, but that split second planted a seed in all of our minds that would become a 1-month trip from coast to coast, 32 events, 1,200 people. And, people would ask me on that trip, you're going from morning to afternoon to evening, aren't you exhausted? And I always said, absolutely not. All the planning of that 1-month tour and the delivery of that tour was effortless. It was pure joy because of alignment, because of the amazing people I worked with, because of, the experience was aligned with my talents and gifts and the things that I thought was really meaningful that I could give to others. So in summary, if you're anything like me and have a really strong analytical mind, put that aside, listen to your heart, feel for the alignment. And if you feel positive alignment, even if it's a crazy idea, go for it, because it'll happen. But if you feel that blessed unrest, that's okay too. Appreciate that and have the courage to take the hard steps, which will launch you and your organization into your next chapter. So a happy holidays and god jul from Norway, and all the best to Rob, you, fellows, and everyone out there joining us today.
Thank you, Wendy. Practicing what you preach. I've seen you go through all of that in the last 2 years with the book and that journey, and wish you much continued success and a happy holiday to you and yours over in Norway and across the country.
Awesome.
Thank you, Wendy. So, Wendy, thank you. And up next for us is Ray Sheen.
Hi, Rob.
Hey, Ray.
Thanks. Thanks for letting me join you all today. I want to actually echo an element of what Wendy said, is if you have that strong analytical mind, don't get focused too deeply in one area. My leadership gift is really to think about your digital transformation as a system, not as a single event or a single project. And as the system, I mean that there's several things that have to be happening simultaneously, and you have to manage them simultaneously. And I normally approach this by looking at it with 3 different pathways. There's a people pathway, a process pathway, and a technology pathway. Now on that people pathway, that's involved with getting your workforce reskilled, changing the organizational change that may require a new organizational setup. The role of your managers often switches to one of more facilitation and problem solving as you move decision-making out to the edges of the organization. But for your workforce to be able to do those decisions and make those decisions wisely, they'll need to have some, again, reskilling, retraining, getting them prepared to be successful. Well, that's on the people pathway. On the process pathway, it's a case of reimagining how you're going to reinvent your business, what business innovations you're going to be looking at on your business processes. And now those processes may be external facing processes as you're putting in new products, new services, new outreach to your customer base, or might be internal processes as you're looking at ways to change how you do business to be more efficient, more effective, better able to accomplish those. But those changes, as they're happening, it's impacting the people. And that change to your business processes are being driven by the third path, which is the technology path. Of course, that's the digital part of digital transformation. But in that technology path, you need to decide which of the different digital technologies, what suite of technologies to use at any given time. You don't need all of them all the time, but you'll be making changes with different ones at different times to make the process changes and to ensure your people are equipped to do the work. Those three paths need to be managed as a system. We need to work with those all three together. And that's my leadership gift, is to approach your transformation as a system, not as a single project, not as a single event, but working all three simultaneously, navigating them together so that they stay in sync. And let's see, everyone else has been giving their holiday wishes in their native language. So I'll have to say Merry Christmas, y'all, from the South.
Well, thank you for the Southern hospitality, Ray. I really appreciate it, and the insightfulness on how to manage your digital transformation initiatives. I appreciate all the learnings throughout the year, Ray, and I look forward to everything 2024. So thank you.
Likewise, Rob. Bye now.
Happy holidays, Ray. Take care. Well, Ray, thank you very much. And next we're going to move on to Roy Atkinson. Hey, Roy, how are you?
Thank you. Thank
Happy
you.
holidays.
Good, Robert. Happy holidays to you, sir. I always get a little twitchy when I talk about leadership. So many aspects and so many styles, and sometimes I think about it in unconventional ways. But I've been lucky enough to have worked with some fabulous leaders over the years and to watch many in action. Now, my senior year in high school, I had a job at a small national bank. We had a senior vice president, Violet Monahan, at a time when women were very scarce in banking and even scarcer in senior roles. But Violet led with grace and humor and confidence, inspired great performance in all of us. She found ways to make things work and to make things right. And I saw her handle troublesome customers. Yes, banks have them too, with great poise and great assertiveness. And Violet was awesome, and I will never forget her. Much later, I was privileged to work at the Institute for Global Ethics with its founder and president, Rushworth Kidder. There's a lot of conversation around ethics with regard to AI right now, and I think a lot of what Rush uncovered is relevant. Rush had been an editor at a major newspaper and a professor of English Lit before starting his quest to find the common threads of what people considered to be core values all around the world. The Institute did research across many countries, religions, and social groups, and Rush compiled a book of his talks with 24 ethical thinkers called Shared Values for a Troubled World, Conversations with Men and Women of Conscience. The core values he uncovered were responsibility, honesty, respect, compassion, and fairness. And those were common everywhere on the planet and across all kinds of social structures. Very interesting. Rush wrote How Good People Make Tough Choices, Resolving the Dilemmas of Ethical Living, and talked at length about the fact that most ethical choices we make are not about right versus wrong. They're about right versus right. He categorized these tough choices, called ethical dilemmas, into four basic types. Truth versus loyalty. Do I stand by my friend who has done something wrong and say nothing, or do I tell the truth about what happened? Truth is right, and loyalty is right. Individual versus community. The rights of individuals are to be preserved, but also the rights of the majority outweigh the interests of the individual. It's right to consider the individual, and it's right to consider the community. Short-term versus long-term. It's right to think about a plan for the current needs in order to preserve the possibility of a future, but it's also right to project the future interests to meet future needs. To think and plan short-term is right, and to think and plan long-term is right. And the fourth paradigm is justice versus mercy. Justice urges us to stick to principles despite the pressure of the moment, and mercy urges us to seek benevolence in every way possible. It's right to be just, and it's right to be merciful. And Rush carefully laid out a 9-point decision-making process for these, which I won't go into today. We don't have time. For these right versus right dilemmas, and taught business, social, religious, and community leaders how to find their way. He also wrote a book called Moral Courage, which he defined as a commitment to moral principles and awareness of the danger involved in supporting those principles and willing endurance of that danger. But he also found time to come to my desk and ask me for my thoughts about current technology, which was my role at the Institute. I was the IT and database guy. He did the same with everyone. He listened and learned along with all of us and from all of us. He was a remarkable man. In the shadows of these individuals and others, I learned the principles of leadership that are still with me and which I can only aspire to live up to. Thanks for your time. Srećna Božić and Sretna Nova Godina, as we say in Serbian, and have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Right, thank you. And I'm going to have to beg you to please list the 9 in the comments at some point so we could all see those 9 that you didn't go over. And I'd love to follow up with you on this as a separate context to break all that out. It was a lot in such a short period of time, but I do appreciate you, and happy holidays to you and your family, and a happy new year as well.
Thank you, Robert, and to you.
Thanks, Roy. So I think up next for us is going to be Jessica Carroll.
Hi, my friend. Happy holidays.
Hello, my friend. How are you? Happy holidays to you and yours.
Love seeing you. Well,
good to see you too. Thank you for doing this.
Yeah, my pleasure. So my gift is a reflection of my 2023, which has really been around customer experience and employee experience. And I'm going to make this statement that creating a premier customer experience requires a customer-first mindset that runs through the culture of your organization. And the creative ideas you may have to create an customer experience with interactions for your customers that's just innovative and creative and thoughtful, I posit that it would fail if you don't have your employees along for the ride. The employees need to support the mission that you are after. And I think the thing that is, I tell everybody, this is really important to remember, that customer first is not about making your customers happy. So that may sound kind of counterintuitive. It's not about giving your customers everything that they want. It's actually about taking your organization and creating the products and services that meet their expectations and delivering for them the business outcomes that they are looking for to be successful in their own business. So it's business outcomes and looking at the customer through their lens and creating your products and services to fit that. So to do all of that, to make that aspiration a reality, you've got to have your employees along with you. And the experience and the engagement that they have is something that just doesn't happen. It has to be intentional, and it has to be managed. And while that alone is a discussion that's much bigger than we have time for today, I will tell you a couple of elements that I've used and championed within organizations over my career that's helped me drive that mission. The first element that I think is critical is really getting down to your company's purpose. To really define, what is that? What makes you special? What is unique about you as an organization? And for top leadership to really define that, communicate it, and most critically, for them to live it. They have to live it. And even though that sounds simple, sometimes we get caught up in fancy words that describe what we think that purpose is, but it's not about that. It's about finding the authentic soul of your company and living that soul through the purpose. So that's the first piece. The second piece has to do with helping your employees understand how to be a customer first culture. You can't just tell them, hey, you need to be customer first. You need to think about the customer. What does that actually mean to them? So you've got to find tangible ways to help them see how their actions in their role in their day-to-day work life contribute to all of that. And so I have 6 principles that I use to help employees find their path to a customer-first organization. So I'm going to share those 6 principles with you right now. The first is curiosity. Your employees need to embrace curiosity. That means taking interest in the person that you're talking to, your team members, your customers, what's going on in the industry. Everyone needs to sort of be driven by, I want to know more. So that's the first principle. The second principle is sort of ties with that, and it's knowing your customer's business. If you have curiosity, it makes it a whole lot easier to care about understanding your customer's business. And by that, I mean more than just understanding what they buy from you, but what's important to them? What is their competition like? What market headwinds are and challenges are they facing? If you know all of those things and you have curiosity, it makes it a whole lot easier for you to develop solutions and create ideas for them in getting to their business outcomes that actually have value and make sense to them. The third principle is owning the problem to urgent resolution. Now, a problem may come across your desk. It may be yours to solve. It may be somebody else in your organization. But what I think is important, and in a customer-first company, we all care about that. We support the team through that problem resolution. We don't lose sight of it. We make sure there's follow-up, and we make sure that the customer gets the answer that they need. So that's the third one. The fourth one ties to problem resolution. It's sort of an important support, and that is being fact-driven. So it's not just saying, hey, customer, you're right, everything you say goes. It's about really understanding the situation with facts, not emotions. And facts can lead you to better processes, maybe better products for your own company. It can also help you set those customer expectations properly. The fifth principle ties with all of this, which is being transparent in your communications, which is a tricky one, because sometimes it's not in everyone's best interest to put every little detail out there. So it can be an art trying to understand how to give the customer as much honest, authentic information that they need in order to make their decisions without putting everybody in a spot that we don't need to go. And then the last principle is really just having a positive energy. Now, if you've got an organization where people are just charged up, they believe in the purpose of the company because it is the soul of the company. They have interest in other people. They're curious. Take all of the other principles that I've just shared with you and wrap that into a positive attitude across your organization. Your customers are going to feel that. And it puts you in a place where it's not us against them. It's a team. It's a collaborative team to get the customer to where they need to go. So my gift for all of you is combining the purpose and the 6 principles to create an employee experience that is energized, that will help create that customer first mindset, and then ultimately that customer experience that you are after.
Well, Jessica, thank you. And as a team here at the Institute, my gift back to you is that 6 principle infographic that you have and you're creating that you're going to send out to everybody. Please share that, because that's great for us to have to remember that there's a customer first mindset. So thank you, Jessica, your continued knowledge and friendship. I truly appreciate it. Happy holiday to you and yours, and a wonderful new year. And I look forward to more learning from you as well.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Thanks, Jess. All right, here we go with our newest fellow, Nora Osmond.
Thank you, Robert, and happy holidays
Nora.
to everybody. And I hope everybody has a very, very happy new year, healthy and wealthy and prosperous and happy, of course. I had to think about this one because it's been quite a year, and I think that's an understatement. But first thing is I have three gifts. One is a reminder that leadership is a privilege. And to lead is really to influence others and to potentially impact their careers and perhaps even their lives. So just a reminder, I think we all know this, but what we do as leaders really, really has a huge impact on others. The other thing is I've been told that it's about the journey and it's about learning and growing. So look, listen, and learn are my reminders for people as how you should grow. Look with fresh, unbiased eyes. Look at what's being said and not said. The body language is 80% of the equation. Look for the good in others and err on the side of giving people the benefit of the doubt and also assuming positive intent. Listen to understand and then to be understood, which is, Stephen Covey's reminder for us. Listen to really hear and be a supporter and to aid others, and listen to learn and grow. And last but not least, learn. And to learn, I'm thinking of continuous cycle from everyone and everything and everywhere. It's reading, and it's also listening and watching. However you learn best, but do it on a regular basis and never think you're done learning. And the last gift is really what I call the leadership ABCs. And this year taught me more than any other year, and this is my 30-year journey into leadership, is that it's about three things, three ingredients. I know people have talked about 6 and 5 and 3, but for me, it's 3 ingredients that really make you a true leader. You should focus on these 3 traits and really use them to build trust with your team and to demonstrate your character. And this is really about authenticity. That's the A. Be the only version of you and let people see who you are and share with them the truths of who you are, and always just be that version wherever you go. So allow yourself to be vulnerable as well, and to be who you are and not assume that you have to be perfect. The B is for boldness and really courage, having courage to do what is the right thing to do and dare to be brave and do what scares you at times. So say what you think and think what you feel, and follow through on what you believe, and challenge the status quo, and don't be afraid of failure, because mistakes are normal and they are what refine you. They don't define you. And last but not least, and this is my favorite reminder, is to be compassionate. Lead with your heart, care about others around you, empathize. It's the key to people's hearts and minds. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. That's a favorite quote of mine. And this is something I say to my team often, and I've been quoted to say this all the time. Do what's right and not just what's easy, because what's easy isn't always right, and what's right isn't always easy. So ABC's authenticity, boldness, and compassion. And that will always guide you to a better place.
Nora, wonderful. Thank you. I love people don't know people won't remember what you know, they know that you care. I've always said people will never remember what you've done for them, how do you make them feel. I love leading with the heart. This is fantastic. Thank you. And from my heart to you, I hope that you have a wonderful holiday. Happy New Year. And I appreciate all the learnings and the connection we made this year. So thank you for everything, Nora.
Thank you. All the best to you and the fellows and everybody listening and the rest of the technology community.
Thank you, Nora. Up next with us is 𝗥𝘆𝗵𝗲𝗄𝗎. I'm sorry, Chuck, but 𝗥𝘆𝗵𝗲𝗄𝗎. Chuck, help me out with that, please, because I never get it right. You're on mute, Chuck.
Well, hello, Robert. Good to talk to you again.
Hello, sir.
It's okay. My name gets mispronounced so often. I'll tell you what, the best mispronunciation ever. I had a driver pick me up at the Delhi airport in India, and he said, "Hi, are you Mr. 𝗵𝗲𝗄𝗎? I'm like, hey, if you're going to mispronounce my name, that's the way to do it." So
well, I like 𝗵𝗲𝗄𝗎 and the haircut, so it works.
That's right. So thank you for asking me on this panel to talk about it. I mean, last couple of years have been interesting to say the least, between returning from COVID, adjusting from work from home, helping some of our clients with the strategies they got to do for the new geopolitical changes, supply chain impacts, started a new health tech company. I have lots of experiences to draw from. But I think for the work we do here at the Institute, the thought I want to share for next year are around the jobs of the Chief Digital Officer. And I've had multiple discussions over the last 2 years trying to define what's a digital transformation strategy, and even help them hire for the CDO role. And if you Google Chief Digital Officers, you get a couple of million results. So I think it's important to go back to basics, and for next year, talk about and think about what are the broad categories of success factors for a CDO. And here's what I come at it from. I come at it from the place that there's no question a successful Chief Digital Officer will have a major impact on the future of any company, perhaps even the current state of the company. But how do they become successful? What are the things they need to do? And here's what I think. If you want to be, or if you want to be a Chief Digital Officer, you have to have at least functioning competence in these areas: business competence, technology understanding, product development, cross-functional skills, cross-functional management skills, indirect leadership skills, and marketing communication skills. And here's what I mean by that. If you're the chief digital officer, your job is not to run IT. You're not going to run the plumbing. Your job is not to pick the latest and greatest technology improvement. That's just another function of what needs to happen. Your job as the chief digital officer is to figure out how do you transform your company into a digital environment. If you don't have the basic competence on business skills, understanding financials, budgeting, forecasting, impact on your shares, all the things that you need to do, you'll never get the idea of digital transformation through your executive team and your board. You got to have digital understanding. And you don't need to be a CTO, but you need to at least understand what role and how different technologies interact, what role they play, how they interact, and what drives them, so you can at least have a conversation with your technical team about what you need to do. You need to understand product development, because in the end, nothing happens without a product, or a service for that matter, but it's got to be something you can do. You can't survive on great ideas and big technology and anything else. You need to have cross-functional management skills, because digital transformation is not an IT function. Being a chief digital officer is a corporate function. You cross every single function. And if you don't understand how to help manage the marketing team and the PR team and the operations team, and what happens when the customer service people need to sell your product, if you don't have that, you won't be able to digitally transform a company. Indirect leadership skills. If you're the chief digital officer, it is highly unlikely you're going to have everybody report to you. So your leadership skills have to be indirect. You have to be able to lead people through processes without having direct leadership authority. And marketing communication skills. Because in the end, any transformation requires good, solid communication. And it requires a special type of communication, which is all about positioning and getting you set up to receive the message. People usually are okay once the change is done. It's during the change that they freak out. So you need to be able to deliver the message. So those are the fundamental basic competency skills you need to bring to the table as a chief digital officer. Business competence, understanding of technology, understanding of product development, some cross-functional management skills, indirect leadership skills, and marketing communications. And please do not confuse any of those with the popularity, publicity, or public relations nonsense that gets wrapped around the chief digital officer. Just leave that aside. Don't drink your own Kool-Aid. Happy holidays. I hope you appreciate it. And do everything everybody said before me, because that's good, important information.
That was gorgeous information, Chuck. I really appreciate it. So thank you, Chuck. I think I'll send you a note. I think I'd like to do a whole show on that next year, because that's a really great conversation. And maybe we'll bring a CIO and a CTO to all break that down. But Chuck, thank you. Happy holidays to you, your family. And again, Happy New Year. Thank you for doing this.
Thank you.
Thank you. Up next for us is Jeff Tunn. And Jeff, welcome.
Hey, Rob, great to see you. Merry Christmas.
Great
Happy
to see you
holidays.
too. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and I will get connected. I just booked a trip to Indianapolis, so hopefully we'll get together in early 2024.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, let me know the dates. Would love to connect. Well, my gift to all of you today is permission to celebrate. And here's what I mean by that. In this time of year when celebrations are all around us, we have to remember as leaders to celebrate every day, celebrate the victories every day. Many of you know I lead a Lewis and Clark program for one of my clients, FCCS Consulting. And you also knew that I was going to work Lewis and Clark into this conversation, because I can do that for every conversation. But one of the things we talk about in that program, there's a module we talk about called proceeding on. proceeding on in the face of burnout and distraction, proceeding on when maybe the mission is accomplished, proceeding on with purpose throughout your life and your leadership journey. And one of the lessons that we teach in there is from Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft. When he joined Microsoft, they were kind of struggling. They'd lost their swagger. Yeah, they were still generating revenue, but we really didn't see a lot of great innovation coming out of the Microsoft team. And Nadella brought this idea of clarity, energy, and success every day, no matter the circumstances. And the way he would do that would be to celebrate the victories, no matter how small, no matter how large. He would go around to individuals within the Microsoft team and celebrate with them. How many times as leaders, when a major project is done, we allow our staff to go celebrate and we don't join because we're busy, we stay behind? Well, this idea of celebration really does a couple of things. And if you don't take the time to do it, you're missing out on one of the elements. First, it marks the completion of whatever you're celebrating, but it's a transition point. It helps you and your team transition to whatever is next. And if you don't take the time to celebrate, you get stuck. This hit home to me in 2023. I was doing the Lewis and Clark program, and this is a 3-day program. And at the end of the third day, in this one instance that I was leading, everybody had afternoon flights to go home except me. So I'm in Great Falls, Montana, and everybody goes home, and there's no one to celebrate with. There's no one to celebrate the conclusion of this event. And it got me thinking, and my secondary gift to you is the gift of sometimes you have to listen to yourself. And I thought back to that lesson about celebrating the victories. And I made it a point from that point on to call back home to whoever would listen, my wife, a friend, whoever, and celebrate that victory that, hey, we just completed this workshop and it was so beneficial to the people that participated in it. And we need to celebrate that so we can move on to the next step. So as we leave this time of celebration, I know we're not even to the Christmas season, the New Year's Eve celebrations, but as we move into 2024, my wish for you and my gift for you is to remember to celebrate the victories no matter the circumstances. Thanks a lot, Rob. I've enjoyed this opportunity. I've enjoyed listening to all the amazing fellows who have shared their insights from this year.
Thank you, and I appreciate everything, your friendship, your tutelage this year as well. Happy holidays to you, your family, and I look forward to actually seeing you and getting that hug next year. So
there you go.
See you soon, Jeff. Thank you. So now we're moving from our fellows to our other founder for the Institute. So please welcome John Palinkas to the screen. Welcome, John.
Hey, Rob, how are you?
I'm well, thank you, John. You?
Oh, wonderful. As you can tell by the background, I'm normally producing this, so I decided to leave the background out.
I'm happy you did, and happy holidays to you, John, and your family.
Thanks. So I like to tell things in the way of a story. So I'm going to relate a story to you, something that happened to me, probably 25 years ago, but I think it's still kind of current. The time we had formed AT&T Solutions and we built a service delivery center. And one of my main responsibilities was to be responsible for recruitment, staffing people for the site. Things were going great. We were using Bell Labs. They had a process where they brought PhD candidates on board. It was handheld. It was wonderful. And then AT&T, in its infinite wisdom, decided to spin off Bell Labs, and they were gone. And we're using the AT&T recruitment process, where 2 months after someone submitted, or not 2 months, 2 weeks, we got to see their resume. We brought them in for an interview, decided we wanted to make a job offer, and maybe a month later, HR sent them a letter. And they wondered why the people weren't waiting there for that to be available. So things were getting really bad. And one day I happened to be talking to my vice president. She said, "Oh, good, come with me. We're going to a meeting." And I knew that was never good. So I said, "Where are we going?" It was with the leader of solutions, who is an officer level at AT&T. So they'll tell you the level at which this problem was at. My vice president, my director, and the head of HR for solutions. We're sitting in this room and they're talking about the problem. There's not enough people coming in. There's not enough staff. We're having service delivery problems. We need to fix it. The discussion got heated to where the solutions leader and my director were literally shouting at each other opposite the table. At that point, I calmly raised my hand and said in a clear voice, "Excuse me, can I be stupid enough to get in the middle of this?" At which time silence descended on the earth. And I think the rotation paused for a second or two. And then finally the solutions leader said, "Go ahead," waiting to hear what I have to say. So I basically said, well, right now someone comes in for an interview. They're interviewed by management, by HR, 2 technical interviews. At the end of the day, we have a roundtable and we make a decision to hire or not to hire. At that roundtable, we can also decide their level, their salary. We'll call them the next day and make a verbal job offer. And the solutions leader goes, "Yeah." I said, "But to my director's point, I need someone from HR to process the paperwork, to put them on the payroll, because bottom line, he offered to pay their salary directly if we couldn't get them on." And I said, "Get someone from HR to do it." So he goes, "Done." He turns to the HR leader and says, "You work for him," and points to me, and then looks at me and says, "What else do you want?" I said, "I want someone to find me candidates." So he gets up and starts detailing everything that people are going to do to support me. Here comes the first key point of that story. I was at least 2 levels lower than anyone in that room, and I was 4 levels lower than the officer level. Yet I took the lead there. You don't, and my gift to you is leadership courage. You need to have the courage when you know what the right thing is. You need to have the courage to step up and do it. Someone said earlier, what's doing right is not easy and what's easy is not right. Well, to me, that's leadership courage. And that's a key point of this. And I chose this story for 2 reasons. And the first reason was you don't need to be the leader to have leadership courage. You can be just anyone in the room. And if you know it's the right thing, have the courage to step in and do it. And the second reason I chose the story was something that my chef colleague alluded to. Back in our consulting days, we had a guiding principle that we used all the time. And the guiding principle was very simple. Senior management knows best what needs to be fixed. In my story, hey, there was the senior most management of solutions in that room recognizing the problem to fix it. And what they were doing was screaming and shouting at each other. And here's me, who basically managed the day-to-day process, basically knowing best what needed to be, how it needed to be fixed. So the guiding principle, simple. Senior management knows best what needs to be fixed. People doing the job every day know best how to fix it. So that's my leadership gift. And thinking about that, remember that second part. You can be a leader, you can be someone just in the ranks, but if you're in a leadership position, take knowledge of the fact that there are people out there doing the job, and maybe you should get them involved in fixing it.
I love it, John. As you know, one of my favorite books is Leading Without Authority, and you probably could have written that book. And thank you for sharing that story and all the others you've shared with me this year. I've learned a lot from you this year, John, and I appreciate that. And again, happy holidays to you, your family, and your support in this all year is appreciated. So thank you.
Thank you, Rob. But before I let you go, I'm going to put my hat back on as producer. So since everyone knows, Rob's leadership gift to everyone was intended to be this show. But I know Rob, and I know he has more than that in him. So Rob, take a moment, share with us what your leadership gift is.
Thank you, John. And when you first asked me to do this, I was hesitant, as you know, but I did some reflecting, and there was a story that resonated with me as well. And there have been many epiphany moments in my career where I've learned lessons around empathy and critical thinking and all those things that come with the characteristics of the soft skills on how to be a great leader. But one of my best leadership lessons was many years ago. I did RLF training, and there was an exercise called the dash. At the end of your life, there's a dash that summarizes Rob was born on this day and is on this day, and what does that dash summarize? And when they go through the room and everyone's talking about, well, I'm a great leader, communicate, etc., my dash was, I'm a great parent. And that led me to believe that if I'm going to do something, I'm going to be authentic, I'm going to be present. And it came up with this quote that I wrote over the years, and I finally fine-tuned it this weekend after you asked me to do it. But my leadership quote is, in this fast-paced digital era, where intention is constantly divided, the true gift of leadership is the art of being present. To be fully present, to show up not just in position, but intention, in attention, intention, and action. In the power of the moment where authentic connections are made, the impactful decisions are taken, and genuine progress is achieved. Remember, the most influential leader is one who is truly there in every sense of the word for their team, their goals, and their vision. Let's make our presence the most valuable gift we offer every day. And to me, my network has been there for me constantly. To be present and to always be there for everyone shows by putting technology away, putting your phone away, and fully being in the moment to support the people around you, your team, your family, and hopefully to enjoy this holiday season with you and yours.
Morning, everyone. My name is 𝗤𝗵𝗲𝗳 𝗏. I'm the Senior Vice President of Consulting Services at CGI. I wanted to share with you today my gift for 2024, and I'm actually going to back up to 2023. So if you followed me at all, you know that I have a word of the year. And for 2023, my word of the year was expansion. So to me, expansion meant that I was going to look at different things to do, different ways to engage, different opportunities, different ways to spend my time or focus. And so that's what I did. I looked for a lot of different opportunities. I networked outside my normal circles, and I took on some projects and some things that maybe were a little bit different for me. But as we went through 2023, which I also think 2023 was really the first full year of being kind of post-COVID, right? So there were lots of different things to do. There were different ways to engage. AI is definitely a hot topic in 2023, as you've seen through digital transformation. But there's lots of different things and different things to do. What happened was then by the end of 2023, frankly, I was a little bit overwhelmed. I had committed to a number of things. I have done a lot of things, talked to a lot of people, but some of the things I didn't feel like I did as well as maybe I could have or I should have. So now I'm recapping 2023. I'm looking at 2024. My word for 2024 now is space. So I realized that all of those things that I kind of added into 2023, instead of making space for them, I simply layered them on top of each other. And so that just led to really too many layers and too much conflict going on in order to really do the things well that I wanted to do. So my gift is to think about 2024 and think about the need to really create space in what you're doing, whether that's at work, whether that's at home, because I do think even professionally, to create space, again, for me means that I have space to learn. I can learn new things and really focus in on what that looks like. I can reflect, go back and look at lessons learned. We all do that with projects, right? We create space, we create a contingency, but sometimes we don't do that personally. So really taking the time to reflect and even strategize on what do we want to do next? What have we learned? How do we apply that to the next thing? And how do we make sure we can move future projects and future initiatives forward? Also, I think it's really important to create space to rest. And again, we're moving at 100 miles an hour. We all have Teams meetings, we all have email, we have texting. There's so many different ways to engage, but really creating space to rest and rejuvenate. Make sure that the space we have is impactful, because we know that as we interact with people, especially in technology and all over the place, but you know, your interactions with people can be very meaningful. So you need to make sure that you have the space, particularly as leaders, to have time to focus on your team and to focus on people even outside your team, because a quick conversation could be very impactful for them. So again, as a recap, my gift to you is really for 2024, especially as leaders, think about making space for yourself in order to make yourself better for the rest of your team.
Hi, I'm Patty Blackstaff from Global Sway, and I'm thrilled for this opportunity to share a leadership gift as we wrap up 2023 at the Institute. This quote by Benjamin Franklin leads into my gift. How few there are who have courage enough to own their faults or resolution enough to mend them. Before we chase excellence or a win in the market, we first have to be aware of the importance and value of cleaning our own house. After witnessing OpenAI and Sam Altman's calamity, new eyes are now on the importance of adaptive and systemic governance throughout the organization. In this case, their gaps were poor self-governance, a lack of alignment and direction, and open communication was lacking, not to mention a poorly executed board response. Today's leadership gift includes 4 points critical to businesses and becoming even more so as technology advances. First, let's start with adaptable governance. This year presented some of the most disruptive and evolving technology that we have seen in years with the development of large language models and generative AI. The rigidity of traditional governance approaches that often leaves organizations grappling with considerable gaps in alignment. This is a risk. Governance processes from the board to the front lines need frequent review and revision to evolve with technological progress and those shifting markets, and they're fast. Point 2, two-way transparency. At the heart of adaptive governance is two-way transparency. The relationship between the board, the CEO, and operations must be seamless. When transparency falters, so does our ability to navigate the complexities of strategic vision. It's not about oversight, but a shared understanding and collaboration between governance bodies and executive leadership. Point 3, continuous evaluation and redefinition. As technology and progress continue to shape the business landscape that we are in, we must frequently review and revise our strategic plans, policies, and outcomes. The role of the board and the CEO is not static. It's an ongoing process of evaluation and refinement. Embracing change is not a weakness, it's a strategic imperative. Point 4, oversight in alignment. Effective governance hinges on the alignment between oversight and action. When oversight is in sync with the day-to-day activities of the organization, it becomes a powerful mechanism for steering the ship. It's not about micromanagement. It's about ensuring that every action is in harmony with our overarching goals. To wrap up, organizational excellence requires a commitment to adaptive governance. It's about fostering a culture of adaptability, transparency, and collaboration. Throughout the company, we must embrace the future, and let's recognize that success hinges on the continuous alignment of direction and action. Thank you for your time today and your commitment to our collective success. As with all members of the Institute, I wish you a wonderful holiday season and a prosperous new year.
Good day to all. I am Ray Lutu. The year 2023 was marked by leadership challenges as a result of the spillover effect of the pandemic. From recruiting new talent to improving workplace environment to addressing the challenges of remote working, successful leaders have adapted to the changing times. For me, the top 3 leadership lessons of 2023 can be summed by the 3 L's: listen, learn, and live the moment. Lesson number 1 is listen. Listening is the cornerstone of effective leadership. the ability to genuinely and attentively listen to others is a skill that transcends the realms of management and extends into the core of human connection. Leaders who prioritize active listening create a culture of openness and collaboration within their teams. This foundational principle is rooted in the acknowledgement that every voice carries value, and by listening, leaders empower their teams to contribute meaningfully. Listening involves more than hearing words. It requires a deep understanding of emotions, concerns, and aspirations embedded in the message. By cultivating empathetic listening, leaders gain valuable insights into the needs and motivations of their team members. Lesson number 2 is learn. In the dynamic landscape of leadership, continuous learning is not a mere option. It is an imperative. The most successful leaders are perpetual students, embracing the ethos of lifelong learning as they navigate the complexities of an ever-evolving world. Learning extends beyond the acquisition of formal education. It is a commitment to growth, adaptability, and self-improvement. Leaders who prioritize learning inspire their teams to embrace a growth mindset. By fostering a culture that values curiosity and the pursuit of knowledge, leaders cultivate an environment where innovation thrives. Lesson number 3, live the moment. Amidst the strategic planning and forward thinking that define leadership, the importance of living in the moment should not be overlooked. Leaders who are present and fully engaged in the current reality create a culture of mindfulness with their teams. This mindfulness is not just about being physically present. It is about cultivating a deep awareness of the present moment and appreciating its significance. Living the moment involves embracing the concept of mindfulness, a practice that encourages individuals to be fully present and engaged in their current experiences. In conclusion, the 3 leadership lessons, listen, learn, and live the moment, form a triad of principles that, when embraced, elevate leaders from mere managers to inspirational visionaries. Thank you.
So before I close the show, I think we're going to bring all the fellows back for a quick happy holiday. Wow, that's great. What a great screen for the end of the loop there. So from all of us to everybody, a happy holidays for everyone, and from the Institute for Digital Transformation, all the fellows, I appreciate all you for doing this. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Merry Christmas.
Happy holidays.
Right.
Merry Christmas.
Prego.
And with that, I'd like to send everyone my appreciation and support for everything this year. The show's turned out to be more than I've ever expected. Frank and John, I want to take a minute and thank you both for your support, your trust, inviting me into your home. Opening it has moved me more ways than I can express. And to everyone else out there, you are my network. I appreciate and love you. You make everything easier. Thank you, and happy holidays and a happy new year to everyone. I'm always here if you need me. Please don't hesitate to reach out.
Thanks for joining Leading in the Digital Era, hosted by Robert Field. Look for more Leading in the Digital Era, presented by the Institute for Digital Transformation, coming to a LinkedIn Live session soon. Can't join Robert for the live session? You can catch the replay anytime on our YouTube channel.